Hi there, my name is Lizzy, and today we're going to talk about Twilight because that's what I want to do. So I'm actually going to be painting my nails and just like having a chat. So just like pretend we're at a sleepover, and it's 2008 and we're really excited about Twilight, the movie coming out. I'm using this color. It is OPI. It is the shade Let's Take an Elfie. It is a dark purpley color. Looks kind of brown on the camera, but I promise it's purple. So I wanted to talk about Twilight because I have become re-obsessed with it in 2020. Like, seems like a lot of people have. I don't know if it's just because I have gotten myself on Twilight TikTok, which I am not ashamed of or mad about. But it's like everyone is rewatching all of them, and they came out on Amazon Prime this year, and then they were on Hulu for a bit, now they're back on Amazon Prime. And everyone, like, the joke is like millennials are rewatching Twilight instead of going to therapy. And I just wanted to like talk about why I became re-obsessed with it this year. I mean, a lot of it has to do with, you know, being stuck at home and not having anything else to do or anywhere to go, purposely not going anywhere. And it was just like, oh my God, ha ha ha, let's watch this again. And then it just like fills you with like nostalgia and comfort. It reminds you of a simpler time. I mean, it reminds me of a simpler time when the movies were coming out, and I read the books twice all the way through. And I don't really do that with series. Like, I don't reread things. I mean, I've reread Harry Potter, but it was like really close to the original time that I read Twilight that I reread Twilight. And I don't know like why. I definitely had to like hide that I liked Twilight so much, because it was not cool. And it was very much like, you're a Harry Potter girl or you're a Twilight girl. You can't be both. And I was like, well, obviously I'm a Harry Potter girl. So I can't be a Twilight girl because those girls are silly and they're weird and they like vampires and they're like into all this weird stuff. I actually watched Twilight, well, one of my watch throughs in the past few months because there have been several. One of them was with Sarah and Tiff had never seen the Twilights, ever. Knew nothing about it. We started watching the first movie and she's like, there's multiple Cullens? And I was like, how did you avoid that fact for so long? Just like in society, just like things you see, you know, in the zeitgeist. How did she not know? I was like impressed that she had avoided it that much, that she didn't know there was multiple Cullens. She thought Edward was the only one. So why did I like Twilight so much? I feel like back then, what I wanted more than anything was someone to like me. I was very hung up on that growing up, you know, like crushes and being crushed on and having a crush, and I always had a crush, and that was like my main focus. And every time I would wish on a star or my birthday or whatever, I would be like, I hope so and so likes me. And so Twilight was like the ultimate, you know, love to me. I was like, oh my God, this boy like loves her and like comes to her room at night, and it's so mysterious and like secretive and like very hot. And I saw the movie in theaters like 7 times. It is maybe still the movie I've seen the most in theaters to this day, the first one. And like I kept playing it off to myself as if I was like seeing it ironically. Like my friend Marie and I would go, I took her to see Twilight. I went to see it with my sister a couple times, and then I don't know who else I saw it with, but like we went and we were like, LOL, this is so funny. This is so dumb. And then we saw every single Twilight together in theaters because we were like, it's a tradition now. We have to go see this dumb Twilight movie, but like we loved it. We like secretly were loving it. Why was I ashamed to like Twilight? I'll tell you why. Misogyny. Patriarchy. We are like conditioned as a society to inherently think that things that teenage girls like are stupid. Like just because it's marketed or targeted towards teenage girls, we're like, that's dumb. And so Twilight was one of those things. And I was like, well, I'm not like other girls. I don't like Twilight. I'm not dumb, I'm smart. I like Harry Potter. When in reality, you know, I am like other girls, and that's okay. There's also a lot of hate towards Twilight, the movies specifically, because they're, quote, bad. They're not good movies. They're so bad. And I'm like, okay, maybe. Yeah, you're right. But can we only like things that are good? Can we not also just like things that make us feel a certain way? Make us nostalgic, or that are cheesy, but like still make us feel good inside, even though it's predictable or whatever. It's still good in a sense because tons of people like it. And it brings happiness, and isn't that good? Also, at the time that Twilight had like come out, I had this crush on this boy who was older than me, and I was like, oh my god, he's like Edward, and I'm like Bella. He was from my church camp, of course, and he lived far away, and so I was like, oh my god, if he was like a vampire, he could like come to my house and visit me. So now that I've grown up, I've realized so many things like this have happened in my life where I was like, I didn't want to be like other girls. I wanted to be different. I wanted to be a cool girl. And so I didn't like the color pink because it was too girly, and I'm not girly, and yada, yada, yada. I didn't like Twilight, but I did like Twilight. I didn't like, I gave away / threw away all of my Barbies, Polly Pockets, dolls, Pokemon cards, everything. I gave them all away because I was like, I'm not a baby, I don't need toys. And now I'm like, I wish I had those still. I like threw away my diaries from childhood. I was like, I'm not a baby, I don't need any of that. Get it out. I'm an adult now. I'm a grown-up kid. I was so stupid. Luckily, I still have like a lot of my schoolwork and stuff, and like cute little things that I wrote down. And I still have a lot of pictures from my childhood and like scrapbooks that I made. But God, I wish I had that diary from 1st grade. Are you kidding me? So now pink is my favorite color, and I'm obsessed with Twilight again. And I have a slime advent calendar. And I'm putting together a Bella Swan cosplay. See, this is what they mean when they say you have adult money. Like, you can do adult things, but then you just spend it on all the stuff that you wish you had as a kid. What's funny is that I wasn't like a popular kid. I wasn't like a cool girl. I was just, I was still a nerd. Like, I was into Harry Potter, and I was a theater kid and all this stuff. I just had to be like the right kind of nerd, I guess. I will say there's a lot of stuff in the Twilight movies that, or there's a lot of stuff in the books rather, that they do not include in the movies that make it seem way more realistic. Like, the amount of time that Bella and Edward spend together before they like are madly in love and confess their love to each other is way longer in the books than it is in the movies. I mean, granted, it's not that long, but it is longer than what is portrayed. There was a TikTok that I saw that was like talking about how in the movie they don't include all of the scenes where Bella and Edward are like joking around with each other and like getting to know each other, because it's not really that interesting, and there's so much more animals. Can you calm down, please? Felix, Jolene, please stop. Anyways, there's like so much plot that happens, you know. We have to like get to know Bella, get to know Edward, find out he's a vampire, and then the whole James thing happens, and the baseball scene and all that stuff. So there's like a lot that has to happen in the movie, and they just skip over all of the smaller parts of them getting to know each other. 1 second. And of course, I'm Team Edward. If you are Team Jacob, cannot relate. Edward and Bella are just meant to be together, you know. They just love each other. They're soulmates. He'd do anything for her. She'd do anything for him. Jacob, you know, loves her in his own way, but is like very nice guy tropey with her. Like, I can give you so much more than him, yada, yada, yada. It's like, she can't help it. She loves Edward. Back off. And then he's like all mad at her. He basically like forces her to kiss him in the heat of battle. I mean, then she realizes she does love him in a way, but like still, he's like, I'm gonna go die unless you kiss me first. Like, what? Oh, another reason that Twilight kind of had a resurgence this year is because Midnight Sun came out, which is, if you don't know, the first Twilight book, but from Edward's point of view. And yes, I did read it, and I loved it, and I don't care what you have to say about it. It took me back to the universe, you know. It was a new Twilight book. Like, what is good and what is bad? Maybe I'm not the person to tell, but it it read like a Twilight book to me, you know? I reread all of the series before Midnight Sun came out, and I just couldn't put it down. I don't know what it is. I still love it. My favorite movie is probably the first one, just for the nostalgia of it. My favorite book is probably Breaking Dawn, just because I love like Bella as a vampire. It's so fun to read. It's like you've been waiting for that moment for 4 whole books and you finally get it. I just love living in that time when Bella is a vampire and they're like parents. It's like, whoa. Okay, I got the first hand done. Purple, can you see? Man, it's kind of hard to tell. But first hand's done, needs some cleanup. This is always the hardest hand, is the right hand, because I'm right-handed. So let's talk about Renesmee. The argument that Jacob grooms Renesmee and it's messed up is not invalid. It is pretty messed up, but you have to like think about it in terms of the Twilight universe. You know, in the book they do explain it way further in advance than they do in the movies, so you like kind of understand the idea of imprinting. They don't just like spring it on you, and they explain it better in the books. But the fact of the matter is, he's not like attracted to this baby, okay? That's not what's happening. Imprinting is explained as if they, you know, they're young or whatever, then they are like their older brother or their babysitter or their cousin or whatever they need them to be in that time. And then when they get older, yeah, they become a couple, and yeah, it is weird. It's weird. I'm not saying it's not weird, but is it grooming because they never get a chance to date or experience anyone else? Like, of course they would fall in love with this person who's been in their life their whole life. But the people who imprint when they're older fall in love regardless of that fact. And it's because the imprinting kind of goes both ways. Like, the person they imprint on like feels it too. Obviously they're not a werewolf, but they feel it to an extent. There's like a magnetic pull between them and they don't want to be with anyone else. So does Jacob groom Renesmee? Yeah. Is it as bad as if it were to happen in real life? No. You kind of like have to like forget about reality, and this is a fantasy. There's werewolf magic going on. You kind of just have to like believe that and let it be that. But if anyone ever tries to use that as an excuse for something in real life, no, canceled, wrong, do not. This is not real life. Do I wish that there were different rules to imprinting, like you didn't imprint until you turned 16 or 18 or whatever? Yes, I do. I do very greatly wish that, because I don't want to defend this relationship, but it is my duty. For my birthday, James got me a Twilight board game that it's like 3 board games, and it's a collector's edition, so it came with all 3. It's Twilight, New Moon, and Eclipse, and it's so fun. I definitely want to play it with James and make a video about it this month, because it is so fun. Okay, my nails are painted. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about Twilight and why I love it, and how things don't need to be good for us to like them. They don't need to be art or like objectively good for us to like them. Sometimes we just like things, and that's okay. As long as it's not hurting anybody, it's okay to like things. Let people like things. And I'm so happy to be here living my Twihard fan life. Finally, after all these years, I can say it out loud. I'm a Twilight fan and I'm proud. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.